Now it starts many, many years ago in the small town of Pinsk. There was a woman who lived there, a woman by the name of Hannah.
My name is Hannah.
Now she wasn't terribly rich, but she was getting by okay. And she always dreamed of adventures, but she spent her whole life living there in the very small town of Pinsk.
Oh, many people go on grand adventures. I more just have my simple life. Me and my chickens, and my cows, and my dogs, and my cats. It's a good life, but there's not much adventure to it. I wish somehow that I would have some great adventure, but alas, it's not to be.
Well, it happened one night when she was lying down to bed to go to sleep. She had a dream. And in that dream, she found herself in a beautiful city. She knew it had to be Warsaw. She'd never been, but she'd heard stories. She could see the gleaming spires. She could see the bell tower and the bridges. And, well, she felt herself compelled to walk to the biggest bridge and walk across the longest bridge in town. She got to the other side of the bridge, and for some reason she felt compelled to start digging and digging and digging, and as she pulled the dirt away, she saw a pile of gold, and she woke up. Just like that, just woke up.
Wow. Well, you know what? Normally, I don't have very exciting bridges and I don't have bridges or dreams. I have a simple life. I mostly am dreaming about, weather or what's happening with my chickens. That was an amazing dream. That was an amazing dream. Alas, I wish it was a real adventure, but oh well, it is what it is. And she went and she had kind of your other normal day, fed the cows, fed the chickens, and made herself kind of a simple dinner. And she went off and went to sleep.
And right there when she was sleeping, the dream came again. She found herself in the beautiful city of Warsaw. She could hear the clip-clop of horses on the cobblestones, and she could smell the food being cooked in the marketplace, and there was that beautiful large bridge right in the middle of town. And she walked across the bridge towards the other side where the bell tower is at. She found herself compelled to go to the corner of the bridge, the other side, and dig up the earth. She didn't know why, and she was digging and digging, and she found a pile of gold. She lifted up some coins in her hands, and she woke up.
Okay, now it's getting a little disappointing.
Yeah.
Because the first time it was very cool, but it was sort of a fluke, but my goodness, that would have been a great adventure. It would have been such an awesome adventure. Can you imagine traveling like that and going to a city and seeing a bridge and digging up gold? But alas, it is not to be. I have my simple, dull life. Maybe I'm a little indigestion, eating too much after dinner. So this time she just had a cup of tea. She went to bed rather early.
And she fell right asleep, and then the dream came again. She found herself in Warsaw. Oh, she could see the gleaming, shining windows on the buildings. She could smell the cooking being done in the marketplace. She could hear the bell tower ringing. It all seemed so real. She found herself walking across that large bridge again, standing by the corner near the bell tower, reaching down and digging up and finding a pile of gold, and she smiled to herself. She was so happy, and then she woke up.
Okay. She decided, you know what? Now I've kind of had it. Those was the most exciting adventures I've ever had in my whole life, and it was a dream. But maybe, just maybe, it wasn't. Oh, what if it was real?
What if she could have a real adventure?
What if that was a message that came in a dream?
That's right. Why would you refuse to learn a message from a dream?
A dream 3 times. 3 is a magic number.
Yes.
She decided, you know what? I'm going to do something totally out of character. I'm going to go to the city and see if that dream is true.
So she packed herself up a bag. She went to her neighbor's house and she said, oh, I'm going to be leaving for a few days.
Will you watch the chickens and the cows? Just make sure everything, they're like, you never travel. Where are you?
This is very odd.
I'm just going to the city. And you started even hearing sirens already. As
big city sound.
So she traveled. She had never traveled farther than the next village. She went a long ways. And when she arrived...
Oh, Warsaw was beautiful, just as it was in her dreams. Oh, the horses, the people, the marketplaces. Oh, she was walking. Oh, it was so beautiful. And
it was so much like the dream. She walked along and she was surprised. Did you know that there were a lot of bridges in Warsaw?
So many bridges.
So many bridges. She kept looking and said, oh, that one is a nice bridge, but that is definitely not the bridge. She walked and walked until she finally found the bridge.
Oh, she knew it was a bridge. She could see the bell tower on the other side of the bridge.
The best bridge in all of Warsaw. Oh. So she said, okay, well, at least this part is true. Yes. And she went over, but then she had kind of a bad surprise.
Yes, there was a guard marching up and down the bridge. She didn't know what they were guarding, but there he was, marching up and down.
Up and down and up and down. Well, she didn't have any experience with guards. And she's like, what are you going to tell a guard? So she just kind of, over the side.
He didn't look like a friendly guy to begin with, so she was just waiting all by herself.
And he was there all day. And she's like, maybe I need to just go home. This is ridiculous. How have I been so foolish? But then there was...
the changing of the guard.
The changing of the guard!
Yes.
Okay, not just guards. It was changing of the guard, because there just was one. But that one left. He pointed out the woman to the new guard, who came on board, and then he started walking up and down. Well, she was thinking, okay, I've got to screw up my courage. I came so far, I need to go. And he seems a little nicer than the other one. So she was almost ready to approach him when he approached her.
I've been watching. You were here when I came on shift, and you've been here all afternoon. I've been walking back and forth. You're just watching. I mean, are you lost? Are you looking for someone? Is someone meeting you here? I want to make sure if you need any help, I'm here to help.
Okay, no, it's none of that. I'm not lost. I know this is the largest bridge in all of Warsaw.
Yes, it is the largest bridge.
Okay, that's where I want to be. And I'm not actually meeting somebody. Okay, this is going to sound ridiculous, and I'm kind of embarrassed to tell you, but I came because I had a dream.
A dream. Cities are for dreamers. That's what they say. Yes.
This was a dream.
Mm-hmm.
This was a dream that I was supposed to travel to the city of Warsaw.
Well, here you are.
Wander the streets till I found the grandest bridge. And I was supposed to go to it and dig underneath, and I would find a pile of gold.
Really? Really? You traveled all the way here to Warsaw, walked around to look for this bridge because of a dream?
Because of a dream. I know. It's sort of ridiculous. As I say it out loud, you're right. It seriously sounds ridiculous.
That does sound very ridiculous. I hope you enjoy the city, but a pot of gold in the middle of town? Somebody would have found it by now. And besides, if you're going to follow your dreams, heck, if I was going to follow my dreams, you know what I would do?
What would you do?
I keep having this dream about going to this little town called Pinsk.
Oh, that's my town.
And then when I get to that town, I find the little house, nice little house right across the street from the cobbler shop.
Oh, I have a house across the street from the cobbler shop.
And my dream tells me that the woman lived there. Her name is Hannah.
Hannah?
Yes.
Is my name.
And then the dream gets even weirder. I go into the house, and for some reason, I pull the stove aside, and then I feel on the floor, and one of the flagstones is loose, and I lift the flagstone, and well, there's a chest of gold waiting for me. But it's just a dream. It's ridiculous. I wouldn't pack up my bags and travel all the way to little old Pinsk just for a silly dream. I would not be so foolish.
You're right. That would be ridiculous. You should absolutely. Well, thank you so much for setting me straight on this. Yes. Well, no need to take any more of your time.
All right.
I think I'll be on my way.
Well,
We'll go
enjoy
to
the rest
sightseeing.
of Warsaw.
Yes.
Have a good day. Have a good day.
So she said goodbye, and she, as quickly as she could, she hightailed it out of that town.
Oh, she ran back home. She got back home twice as fast.
Retraced her steps. It was amazing how much quicker she got home. She didn't even run over to tell the neighbors she was home. She ran up to her house, looked around. It looked still just the same. And then she went over and she looked at her stove.
Yes.
And, who's ever moved their stove before?
No, when you drop something back there,
it just is gone. It did turn out you could, if you really wiggled it, move the stove away.
So she moved the stove a little bit, and then she started feeling around on the ground for those flagstones, and she found a loose one.
Here's one that is loose. She leaned over, she pulled it, and there was a box in there. She lifted it up, set it down, opened it up, and there inside she saw gold.
Yeah.
Woo! Now, you might say, well, here, simple Hannah, she was now rich because there was a lot of gold in there. And she tried to think, well, what would the right thing to do?
She's a very sweet woman, very generous woman. She gave a bunch of money to the synagogue. That's for one thing.
She gave it
for sure.
to help, some neighbors and some friends who needed some help. But she kept just enough left to make an adventure fund. And they said she had many adventures traveling around, and she always paid close attention to any particular dreams that she might have.
Never know.
And that is the story that comes to us from Poland about the treasure underneath the bridge.